So we're May 7th, and I'm looking at the calendar. The bees have obviously gone through their first hatch. They've replaced that winter nest, so they built that springtime cluster. And now they are working on developing that nest to move that colony into summer. So I'm counting my weeks, and it's looking like when you look at brood hatch in 3 weeks, so you throw it down in blocks. I know the queen doesn't lay like that, so everything's, quite progressive. But the first hatch is finished with, and we're on to the second round of brood. And that second round of brood is going to be hatching within this week, within next week, according to the calendar. And that means these hives that I identified as strong, or sporting a great big nest, are going to run out of space. So anything I see in here right now, this is the established spring nest, and anything in the brood frames is what's going to multiply this colony outwards. So the easy thing to do is just to put space on top, which we will probably do right away. It's just we've been having really cold weather, cold nights still. Like last night it got down to -3, was it? It's been windy. Daytime highs hardly reaching 10. So I've been holding off, trying to keep my nest tight because I like to keep my beehives. I like to keep that early spring development nice and tight, just to, make for a warmer house for these bees to develop their spring nest in. Just give them less house to look after. So they've utilized this whole entire box. The nests look pretty good. It's just when this brood hatches, like you can look at your brood frame and you can multiply it by 3. So one brood frame equals about 3 frames of bees. So this is a box of bees. We're just going to tip it to take a look at it. I'm assuming it's a box of bees because it has this blue tag on it. Now I'm going to assume there's at least 4 frames of brood in here ready to hatch. So we have a box of bees plus another, possibly 10 to 12 frames of bees ready to hatch, which won't fit in this box anymore. So where are they going to go? And that's going to send this nest into instant swarm mode. So I got to get space on these guys. The easy is the space on top, but if this weather doesn't smarten up, we're going to have to put it underneath just to give the place for the bees to hang out underneath. I'm a big believer on maintaining the integrity of the beehive nest, especially in the early spring when there's these huge variable temperature fluctuations. That nest is going to go like this, and all of a sudden we give them space on top. There's that whole different house dynamics they have to take care of, and it's just their whole cluster dynamics change, and it induces stress. If it gets really cold and they really have to tighten up and they have all this house to look after, it just shocks them. And anytime a colony is shocked to stress, just like any other animal, they fall susceptible to disease or chemical exposure or whatever environmental factors going on outside the hive shows up inside this box. So I got to make my decision here. My guys are waiting for me to pull the trigger and to get some work done. But I don't want to compromise this nest. So what I'm doing, I'm just taking a peek through the apiary just to see what's going on. I'm not digging down in the nest because it's too bloody cold. Well, I'm going to dig down into this one just to show you guys what's going on and to show me what's going on. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tip this colony back, see what's going on underneath. And, if they are packed full of bees and all of a sudden there's too many bees in this and they're thinking about swarming, there will be won't be swarm cells yet because they've hardly had enough nutrition to come in to promote that spirit. But they're going to be preparing cups and such, and we'll just see. And we'll just see at what we'll just try to see what the thinking is of this colony. And if they are overcrowded, then we got to get space on them. If they're just, if they can buy me another 3 or 4 days of time, it looks like the weatherman's put nicer weather out at the end of the forecast again. Get me a few more days, and I can help this colony progress without influencing any type of stress on them and minimize my workload. So let's see what we've got inside this colony. Okay, so these guys, definitely a box of bees, as you can see. So any type of brood hatch, they're not going to have any space whatsoever. So I just want to look at the bottom of the frames here. I'll likely smoke them off the bottom just to see what they're thinking about. And I know this doesn't translate very well over my iPhone video here. I know you guys can't see what's going on, but what I'm seeing down here, maybe I'll move you closer. You're building burr comb in the bottom, which is good. Here's a cup. And these are cups until they lay an egg in there, until the egg hatches, and it becomes a cell. So that's just a cup still. So that's been freshly built. So there's not much going on in the bottom here. There's not even any drone comb going down here. So these guys aren't in a panicked situation yet. So that's what all my blue tags basically look like. Basically a box full of bees. Some of them are smaller, like maybe 6 to 8 frames of bees. These big boxes of bees, they can handle space on top a lot easier than the ones I assessed that are borderline. So that's basically why I'm fussing so much. So I just want to dig down just to see what's going on. So I'm not going to get too intensive with my inspection because it's quite cool. It's like 5 degrees right now. They're just hardly awake. Good frame of honey. Excellent frame of honey. Frame of brood. Sides hatched out, full of eggs again. Another frame of brood. Pollen. Pollen's nice to see. The side's packed full of pollen. And eggs right out to the sides. So she's laying everywhere. There's another nice frame of brood. So this is a well organized frame. We have must have been a hatch here. This is full of eggs again. This is mature brood about to hatch, rimmed with pollen, and then you have the syrup honey on the top. So that's a beautifully prepared frame. This side is full of eggs. As that brood's hatching out, and look at the pollen in there. So they've made lots of use of the limited weather they've had to just pack that full of pollen. That looks like maple. Right now what's blooming is willows, Manitoba maple, elms are coming out. Really highly nutritious food right there for them. So they have enough reserve here, they don't really need that supplement I put on. There's a few drones walking around. It's nice to see. And she is laying absolutely everywhere. So drones are hatching out. This is a frame of brood that's hatching. The little babies are just hatching out there now. Or emerging, I should say. So day by day, this colony size is going to be expanding, requiring more space. That queen is filling up all the space she can with eggs. These guys will need space right away. Here's a frame that is hatching out. Eggs everywhere. Beautiful frame of brood. These guys are hatching out right now. And that queen's not too far behind with the eggs. There she is, and she's just hiding under the strip now. A gorgeous queen, a little blackie. Whoa, she's a beautiful queen. So that's all I really have to see. The queen has some space in there. These brood frames are hatching out. They need space like right now. So this hive is telling me to box me up. So I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing. I want to get space onto these colonies, but I don't want to compromise the development of that nest. I want to make sure that they're going to be moving forward throughout this as we add the space to this nest. It's cold. Improving temperatures, but this week we're hardly going to get over 10 degrees. We're seeing 10s and 12s and 14s. Later on in the week we're going to start pushing into 20s, and that's good. The nighttime lows we're seeing, well, last night is -3. We're going to be 0 tonight, back down to -2, up to 3, up to +5 as we get on later in the week, and that's going to help keep that colony expanding. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these guys for another couple days. Because my crew, we can get out and we can do a lot of work. Tomorrow's supposed to be kind of rainy, windy, overcast anyways. So I think we'll start Thursday, get these seconds on these big colonies Thursday, Friday, and just blast them out. We can get a lot of work done in a short period of time. So I think I have roughly 300 colonies I have to add space to within the apiary. So that's a truckload of boxes. We can get that out even in a day if we, but it's 40 yards, so it'd be about, we'll get that out in 2 days. So I think, and by then the weekend's supposed to get really nice and warm. So I'm just going to hold off a little bit. Might seem like a lot of fussing that I'm doing right now, but that's just how I manage things here. When it's cold, you can't force things along. So you can't rush things. You gotta wait until things are ready, regardless on how far behind you are, and regardless of what the calendar tells you. You gotta do things when it's appropriate. Otherwise, you're just defeating the purpose of promoting the excellence that we're trying to achieve with our production. Fuss, fuss, fuss. Be easy if someone could just make my mind up for me, but there isn't. But Mother Nature is telling me, you know, slow down. I mean, the trees are just so slow too. It's not like we're missing a lot of pollen. The pussy willows are out. We're missing some of that pollen. The maples are out. This week they should be able to get to the maples. We should have a good week coming up here. I think I'll just hold on for a couple days.